The word racist has been used as a weapon against the indigenous native people of this country for the last 2-3 decades, so I really don't think people care at this point.
You've only to see what he's done in Manchester. He'll be a good constituency MP, won't he? He's clearly a good fella.
I don't want to sound racist or anything, you know what I mean? I don't want to be like that, but that's, to me, a reform. No, I can't. Stop.
I don't think any of them, Burnham or Rob Kenyon, especially after all the controversy that we've heard about him. So I'm still up in the air.
It's vote for hope, but hope comes from being a better Labour Party, coming back stronger, bringing people back together, dealing with the cost of living that affects everybody, whoever they are. You know, this is what this is all about.
So we've come out today to the Makerfield constituency to talk to local people about how they're planning to vote in the upcoming by-election. One thing is very clear, which is that it is a tight race between just two parties, Reform UK and the Labour Party. So what's brilliant here is that we've come to Labour HQ, and clearly the neighbours aren't happy with the fact that Labour HQ are here, so they've decorated the bushes with Rob Kenyon and Reform UK, which is the exact sort of pettiness that we're always here for. It's like in the Gorton and Denton by-election when Labour put their poster up right next to the Green Party HQ. It's the same sort of level of pettiness. So they're going with the Vote Andy, Vote Hope slogan. Lack of the name of the party though. Interesting. Hi, are you okay? Hi, yeah, Callum, nice to meet you, Telef Media.
Nice.
We're doing the rounds at HQs today, just having a chat with people. Wondered if you've got any activists, any official people, any candidates?
The honest thing
anyone that might have a chat?
no,
Burnham
yeah.
about, do you know? Is there any way?
He will just be door knocking straight.
Okay.
He won't be doing any interviews for the next 4 days, basically, because
An election is taking place?
Yeah, we've got to get every vote, basically.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no,
I can't
that's
be more
fair.
helpful.
No, it's all right.
Obviously, if you see someone about, like,
Yeah.
go for it.
We weren't able to get any interviews, but we have walked away with this campaign literature. This one here, which is designed like a record. They're going with the Northern Souls theme. They've done the same with the magazine here, Northern Souls magazine. I did notice, just having a look, there's a really interesting in here on the first page, which is, why are you doing this now? And Burnham says, wherever I go, I meet people who feel politics no longer works for them. Decisions are taken away from the people and places expected to live with the consequences. I feel that frustration too. It seems very much that they're going for the local angle. We all know he wants to be Prime Minister, and that's really why this campaign is even happening. In fact, we wouldn't have a by-election if it wasn't for the fact that Burnham wants to be PM. But not a lot of mention of that in the literature. Interesting. Do like the design though, it's quite cool. We're just driving to Haydock Racecourse, where we've been informed the official Restore Britain HQ is. So we've just come to Haydock Racecourse, and we've just tried to have a chat with the Restore Britain HQ. It's a tent in a car park with about 6 or 7 people in. Immediately, we can't film here. If we film here, we'll be kicked off. We'll be kicked out. We can't give you anyone to talk to. Not interested at all in talking to us. I don't believe them. I mean, I'm sure the racecourse have got rules about filming here, but it seemed like a bit of a bullshit to me.
We're in the car park as well. We're in the car park.
Yeah, we're in a car park. So I mean, it's not like we're on the racecourse or that we're inside one of their buildings. But hey, they told us to go out and find some people on the street, so that's what we'll do. We're just noticing that like everywhere's closed. We appreciate we've come out on a Sunday, but it's like it's lunchtime. It's the middle of the day. It's odd to see. Even like the lunch places are closed. It just seems a bit of a shame. I wonder if this is a pattern. How's it feeling on the ground for Restore Britain at the moment?
It's a bit touch and go. I really think people have electioned out where they're not answering the door. They can see you through the window and they just blank you basically.
And are you local to the area? Or
no, about 2.5 hours away.
Okay, cool. So you've come to help out. Have you been here long? Have you just sort of here for the weekend? Or?
Weekend, yeah. Come yesterday and today and then go back home.
How are Restore feeling at the moment about the concerns around vote splitting? I know Reform have been attacking you, saying that you're sort of taking votes off them and it's going to lead to Andy Burnham potentially winning. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, they say that, but that's the excuse they used for the previous general election.
Yeah.
So you can't say that when this time, surely not.
And what's the message to voters on the doorstep here from Restore at the moment? What's the attack line that you're going with?
Generally, just get our country back and make women and girls safe again.
What's Rupert Lowe got that maybe Nigel Farage hasn't, that's appealing to people like yourself?
He's not afraid to be called racist. That's the main thing. He's done all that work on the grooming gangs with the report, which is coming out this week, and Nigel said he would do it and he hasn't, so that comes out of that basically, get our women and girls safe.
Do you think that perception of racism could be a problem for you? Because I know that Nigel has tried to distance himself from people like Tommy Robinson and certain sort of people on the right of politics, and obviously with Rupert Lowe not being afraid of that, do you think that that's going to work in his favour, or do you worry that could push some people away?
The word racist has been used as a weapon against the indigenous native people of this country for the last 2-3 decades, so I really don't think people care at this point.
So we've got some Restore literature here. So we've got innocent British men and women assaulted, raped, stabbed and murdered by migrants who should never have been in our country. Restore Britain says enough in big capital letters. We will end mass immigration from countries that supply us with sex pests, rapists and criminals. Our immigration policy can be summed up with 3 simple words: millions must go. And then it says, which foreign nationals would a Restore Britain government remove? And then we've got a list. So reside in Britain illegally, man, woman or child, gone. So much for standing up for women and children. Unable to speak our language, gone. Claim benefits, gone. I assume that means foreign nationals that claim benefits, not anyone that claims benefits. Reform UK's generic and brave men betrayed our borders. Britain suffered the appalling consequences. I mean, this attack line is fair to an extent, because Robert Jenrick and Suella Braverman were literally in government making decisions about immigration, about our borders, under the last Conservative government. And now they're complaining about all the decisions that were made and the inevitable outcomes of the decisions that they were making, as if they had nothing to do with it. So I think that's enough attack line. And speaking of enough, that's just plain simple message there from Restore on the back. We've got a meaty one here which we'll have another look at in a bit, although they are asking the question, is Restore Britain splitting the vote in Makerfield? I think the answer is obviously yes, whether they're saying that. And then they've also got a list here of Reform versus Restore, which side are you really on? Which is actually a fun little tick list where you can tick a box to say which policy you agree with, total up your score, and then see whether you side with Reform UK or if you sided with Restore Britain. Something that's missing from these, interestingly, is there's no attack lines on Labour. It is very much Restore versus Reform, according to Restore Britain's leaflets. Probably deliberate, although I think Reform would argue that's going to work in Labour's favour. We made our way across Makerfield to find Reform Party HQ, eventually arriving at a business park, but no one would talk to us on camera. So we've just been chatting to some of the staffers at Reform HQ. They wouldn't let us film, but we had a good chat with them. We've been given some campaign material. Something I've just noticed is really interesting. They've gone with the same line that they went with in Gorton and Denton, where they've got the welcome to the constituency, and then they've got the how many quote illegal boat migrants live here. They did this in Gorton and Denton as one of the sort of the campaigns on their leaflets to try and sort of get the message out about illegal migrants living in the area. So it's interesting they've used the same thing. I mean, it's the sort of stuff you would expect. Remove all illegal migrants from Makerfield, deport every illegal migrant in Britain. Lots of stuff about immigration. Only Reform can beat Labour here. Probably one of the times that those sorts of messages is actually accurate. They've also used some polling from the Times. Now, this is really interesting because this shows the Restore vote at 7%. But What Reform's team were telling us is that from what they can gather on the doorstep, roughly half, I think he said about 45% of the Restore vote is a very soft vote that they think will be easily swayed. They said when they looked at some of the data in terms of sort of locked in voters, Labour and Reform were both at about 75% of the voters pretty much locked in, with 25% could be swayed either way, or two other parties. With the Restore vote, they said it was only about 55% that was actually locked in that were voting for Restore. So if this polling that Reform are using in their leaflets, if this is accurate, there's a good 3.5% of this 7% here that could be swayed to jump to the Reform vote. Now, if that happens, that would put Reform on 43.5%, 0.5% above Labour. So something else that came up speaking to people at Reform HQ today was Rob Kenyon's Question Time appearance. We asked whether that had an impact or not on the doorstep, and the general feeling was not really. They seem to think that people are quite happy to see a normal person on the television. The fact that there was a few stumbles didn't seem to bother them. I think he said they counted that there was 4 good clips from Reform's perspective that came out of that, with 2 not so good clips. Rob Kenyon, the Reform candidate, is just a normal local lad, at least according to Reform. Seems to be what people are saying on the doorstep. The other really interesting thing from the conversation that we just had was about Restore. And I think if we look at how Restore came about and the history with Rupert Lowe, it seems clear, certainly from Reform's perspective, that it's just a vanity project for Rupert Lowe. He's clearly upset that Reform kicked him out of the party, and they were telling us that a lot of the Restore membership and their activists and the people that are actively involved in the party are people that are no longer allowed in Reform. He also said that a lot of them showed up recently outside Campaign HQ here with deck chairs, blasting music, just to try and piss them all off. So far we've been unsuccessful with party staff willing to chat with us on camera, so we thought it would be time to speak to the people who matter most, the voters.
I was actually going to vote for Andy Burnham, because I do actually like our Prime Minister. I do believe he's putting things right after the Conservative government's put it back. But to be honest with you, I do believe that COVID was introduced because of, you see, it's like that, they do nothing about them. So I do actually believe that COVID was a man-made thing, but I do believe it was brought in because of the borders, people chopping heads off, things like that.
I'm still undecided if I'm honest. I don't think any of them, Burnham or Rob Kenyon, especially after all the controversy that we've heard about him. So I'm still up in the air.
So when you say you're undecided, who is it between for you then? Are you deciding between whether to vote Reform or Labour, or?
Well, no. I mean, I'm at the moment I'm probably more for Restore, but it's probably a vote for Burnham that anyway. But I think looking at how it's going, I think Burnham will probably just about scrape through. But like any politicians, they promise the world and then they don't deliver.
If Restore was a proper party,
Right.
then they would be there. To me, but they're not there yet.
And what are Restore offering you that maybe Reform aren't then?
Reform are too, what can I say, Reform are too outside of what I think, too...
I don't know what
what can I say? I don't want to sound racist or anything, I don't want to like that, but that's, to me, Reform, no, I can't, stop.
So would you vote for the Labour Party?
No, I'd never vote for Labour Party.
But why? What is it that's...
I think all the policies are all wrong.
Okay.
They've got to look after their own people before everybody else. Simple as.
Who would you vote for then, if not Labour?
Well, there's only one at the moment which stands up for the British people, and that's Farage, referendum party, Reform Party.
Yeah.
So,
we've spoken to quite a few people today that are saying that they're voting for Restore.
I won't vote for Restore. I think they go too far.
Okay.
They really go too far.
Okay.
It's all about the British people anyway. Look after your own before everybody else. Simple as.
You should bring in someone from the working class to figure everything out, and it should be more of a social event rather than scrutiny of everybody as their individuality for a power fight and a financial fight. It should be to empower the next generation and to bring to communities that are suffering and people that are suffering rather than ones that are not and making their pockets bigger.
Is there a political party at the moment in this constituency or just even generally in the country you think are offering something like that?
No. I want to move country. I think it's devastation.
What's been the sort of the tipping point for you? What's been the point where you've gone from being happy here to thinking, actually, I want to get the hell out?
I honestly don't think I could put my finger on one thing. I think since Brexit and COVID and things like that, they've just not been able to pull it back. And to be honest, I don't think they're even trying. Like, I think we're on the verge of having the next Putin or fucking God knows what in. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Desperately want Andy Burnham to win because I feel like the country faces an existential threat from reform, and I think the left of any sort of rosette really just needs to unite behind people who can ward off the threat of reform. And my mum, and this is anecdotal but bears repeating, my mum, who floats around the political spectrum, historically obviously trade unionist, family labour, floats around the political spectrum, is sometimes swayed by Farage and people of that ilk. When she sees Andy Burnham on TV, she's like, I like him.
I've got a girl up the road who keeps going on about reform. I said, no, I don't know his policies, I don't understand his policies. But all I've seen from Nicholas Farage, basically, is racist, he's a bit of a misogynist, he doesn't believe.
We're just noticing that, like, we appreciate we've come out on a Sunday, but everywhere's closed. Is that normal for a Sunday here?
To be honest with you, no. It's not, to be really honest with you. A lot of things have been closed, like for example, we had a lot of pubs around here, they're not open anymore, you know what I mean? A lot of them have closed down. But this has been down to like the regeneration, or people can't afford it and things like that, you know what I mean? So you come out, you get a little bit of shopping, and Aldi used to be there, people used to come down a lot because Aldi were there, you've now got your farm foods there, which is good. You know what I mean? And we know you're giving like the money to local businesses and stuff like that, which is fair enough, but these people have already got money. It's the people who've not got money, you need to give that money back to them. Not like sort of charge them more for whatever. Do you think that Labour are doing well? Well, let me rephrase that. Do you think Andy Burnham's doing well in spite of Labour at the moment? Because we've spoken to a lot of people who have said that, you know, they've noticed that Labour aren't really running a Labour campaign. It's all Andy Burnham for us. I mean, we couldn't find the word Labour on any of the posters or anything.
I'm not sure really. I don't know the sort of internal machinations of the thing really. I just know that what he's about works for me, I think.
Do you think it's a vote for Andy Burnham as opposed to it being a vote for Labour?
Possibly, I don't know. Like, I think it's a left-wing platform, but a sensible one, not a kind of wild, kind of unrealistic one. Feels, you know, I get like I don't know, Harold Wilson vibes off it, which I think that'll do for me.
I think Rupert Law for me is more honest. He's more honest. He's more. I can believe what he says. The other two, you know, I mean, I knew Burnham when he was in Lee. You know, I did like him from then, but I don't know. I think they just get a bit too big for the boots, and they don't come down in the real world. You know, once they're in power, they've got that power, and like every other politician that's been, even prime ministers, they promise everything, and then they go back on the manifestos. I mean, they don't deliver what they promise, and I'm really undecided, and that's if I vote at all.
Right. There's a chance you may not.
There's a chance I may not, but that's about it for me.
Across the barren streets of Makerfield, hoping to find more people, we turn to the best possible place, the pub.
I was asked the question by one of the parties, what would I think I need to make my pub better? To me, it's not about giving business rates relief, it's not about anything like that. Half the pubs that you go in are on full business rates relief anyway. You give us a number and it's not paid anyway, it's on relief. So bringing that down, I get more relief on something I don't pay. What's the point in that?
There's a campaign at the moment to try and cut VAT for hospitality establishments. Would that help?
That might help, but in my opinion, what they should do is put the tax up on beer in supermarkets and the tax down on beer in pubs. like they did a long time ago to get them out of pubs and into supermarkets and stay at home. Reverse that.
So we're sat here in Hindley. We're at the Bird in the Hand pub, and we're having our own Turn Left focus group. So we've got Adam, we've got Cassie and John, and Karma the dog as well, who's just turned 5 today. So
It's a birthday.
it's a birthday. But yeah, so obviously we've been chatting about the by-election. We're talking about the local area. So who's going to start us off? I'm looking in Cassie's direction because he just had so many good things to say. But what's it been like having your area being sort of the centre of the world's media? What's that been like?
Boring, to be quite honest. Literally, we've been over everything that's coming through the door. It's everywhere you look.
Not all the time, innit? Yeah.
I know where I'm going, and genuinely, Andy Burnham is the person who I think is the person that can actually.
Do you think it'll make a difference to the area having? I mean. Let's be realistic here. The reason this by-election's been called is because Andy Burnham wants to try his hand at being Prime Minister. Yeah. Do you think that?
King of the North.
But do you think having the Prime Minister be your MP, what impact do you think that'll have on your local area?
Well, none at all, to be honest with you, because I feel like they're all after themselves. Every single political party is one-upmanship. They're all trying to outdo the other one rather than looking after day-to-day life, keeping our taxes down, welfare, potholes in the road. But they're not asked about that. They're all on about, oh, he's done this, he's done that, he's done this, he's done that.
What does this area need?
What does it need? I don't know.
Someone with a backbone. It's someone with a backbone who is literally doing everything what we need.
Political, what does it need? Someone who can actually fucking deliver something that they actually promise, which is very
working class person who's not forgotten his roots. He's no silver spoon, not forgotten his roots, and he stands up for us. He's like.
And who do you think's offering that?
I don't think there is anyone there. I think they're all after themselves.
I disagree. I think that Andy Burnham, he's the man. I think no. I disagree.
The moment somebody gets into power, they will just get used to it, and then.
I've got faith in this man.
You know, and if you got his roots when he became mayor of Manchester and put that green
I don't think.
Well, just on that point, so obviously you've talked about the fact he's mayor of Manchester. The Greater Manchester area covers where we are. You know, it covers a lot of this constituency. And we were walking around places earlier. You know, I know it's a Sunday afternoon, but the high street in Ashton is dead. There was nobody about. Shops that were closed. You know, closing down sales in the shops that were open.
I don't think that's a usual thing, though.
But do you think this area has benefited from Andy Burnham's mayoral term?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
The beeline bus thing he did.
That
He's actually doing this thing where you can catch a bus about 2 o'clock in the morning.
So if you're not feeling Burnham, then where are you sort of?
Well, I don't vote because they're all as bad as each other. If I was going to go anywhere, it would be Nigel Farage. If I was going to go anywhere, but I just feel like they're all as bad as each other. And day-to-day life, I still have to go to work, no matter what I get given, no matter what they take off me, no matter what.
So what is it about Farage then that's not quite? He's got your attention, but he's not drawing you in enough to actually go out and vote for him. So what is it that you think's missing?
He just seems a bit more. He's looking after the English person, and not just like people on benefits. Labour's supposed to be the working party.
But you're saying that even then, you're still not going to vote.
No.
So what would reform need to do to prompt you to actually go out and vote for them?
I don't think it would take someone to actually tell the truth and do what they say they're going to do. Because every government in my lifetime that I can remember has not delivered on the manifestos that they've had. Every single government, whether it's Conservative or Labour, has not. Lib Dems give up their shop when they married in with Conservatives. Do you know what I mean? They were getting a bit of leeway, but we get a bit of power. They just want power rather than looking after.
So for you then, what would the best outcome be for this by-election?
I would probably lean towards reform, because Labour is not a working class party anymore. It's a dole party. It's a benefits party. We'll take money off the working people so you can have 6 or 7 kids.
And do you think that if Burnham were to win, do you think he would change Labour significantly for that to change?
No, and I think he'd also put us back in the EU as well, which they keep leaning towards. And there was a referendum, but they just keep trying to go back into the EU and little drips and drabs like so.
What do you think about, you've mentioned obviously Reform UK, Nigel Farage. What are your thoughts about Restore?
Well, Restore's just he's only being a party. He's only being a party because Nigel Farage fucked him off. And that is why he's just being petty. He's being petty and he's going to take the votes that makes Andy Burnham get him. If he'd not been kicked out, Restore had never been founded, Andy Burnham wouldn't get that seat. That 7 or 8% that he's going to get is enough to give Andy Burnham that seat. And that's just being petty.
But then you've said that you're not going to vote. So are you, by not voting, are you not also feeding into that of helping Andy Burnham get in? Because if you lend your vote to Reform, that's one less vote.
To be fair, I'd like it if everyone didn't vote and they all give you a big fuck you. No one voted, give you a big fuck you because you're all lying, cheating bastards. Well, do you know, I can't really say much more after that.
That's the clip, isn't it?
I think, you know, you might have made your point. But if I can interject slightly, obviously, I am his best friend. I love you. But I do think if there's anybody, I actually share a lot of John's opinions here. I've not been a person to vote very much. I've voted probably once or twice in my lifetime. I'm going to vote on this one.
Yeah, but you're only 21.
Yeah.
You're getting the next pints in now.
But I am going to vote this time. I'm going to vote Andy Burnham because I think Andy Burnham's going to hurt.
So we've just been in the pub, bird in the hand. We weren't expecting much, but we've just had a really interesting conversation with a number of people here. It's pubs like these up and down the country where real conversations are happening, and I think often politicians, they don't understand what normal people actually think, and what better place to find out what normal people think than the local pub? Still on the hunt for more people of the constituency, we noticed one house that had a good spread of Reform placards. We decided to knock on their door, and to our surprise, we were allowed in. Thanks for sitting down with us anyway. So obviously we noticed the Reform placards outside the front. So what's motivated you to put the placards up?
Because this area's been Labour run forever. It's never had any other type of council, and it's terrible. They just do not care about us, and they've not done for a very long time. And I like what Reform say. My first and foremost is there are far too many illegal immigrants. It affects this area. There's lots of HMOs on the main road. All young single men. They intimidate people. People don't want to walk about at night on their own. People are frightened to go to the park with the children. So that is a big thing for me. But also, they do nothing for the area. Andy Burnham's come along. He's not interested in us. All he's bothered about is being Prime Minister. Josh Simmons, even though he was Labour, a lot of people liked him and he did seem to try for the area. I spoke to Josh several times. But for him to step down proves, one, he didn't care about the area, and two, for Andy Burnham just to take us all for granted, to think he can just come and take over. I think that's terrible.
Yeah. How have you voted in the past, if you don't mind me asking? Have you previously voted Labour?
I used to vote. I voted for Conservatives when Boris was in power, but I joined Reform last year and rejoined this year. Yeah. I like what Nigel says. I don't have to like him as a person. I don't know him, but I like what he says, and I think our candidate Rob, he's not brilliant in front of the cameras. Who will be when it's your first time? You know, and I thought Question Time was a complete setup for him. My biggest regret is Rupert Lowe sticking his two-penny thing.
I just wanted to ask about that because it's looking close at the moment. We saw some polling this morning that showed
it's not looking close at all. Absolute. Well, for a start,
I mean, between Labour and Reform. Because it looks as though a lot.
We would win if it weren't for Rupert, and I just say, why Rupert? I agree with your policies, but they're too strong for this country. Even I'm right wing. But even I can see that some of his policies will not pass the muster with millions and millions and millions. He'll do like UKIP did, he'll get 4 or 5 million votes, which is worthless. I do believe it's because Nigel threw him out the party. I think it's bitter. He knows he can never be Prime Minister. And so every time he writes on Facebook what he's going to do when he's in power is a blatant lie. A blatant lie.
Yeah.
And that upsets me because he knows exactly. He's taking in people who are desperate for what he says to be true, as I am. But we all know it's not going to happen.
Do you think that this area would benefit from having the Prime Minister as their MP?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not.
And
he won't
why?
care once he's in. He won't care. Well, he's been an MP for Lee for 10 years. What did he do? You know, he's the Mayor of Manchester. We are Greater Manchester. He's had all these years. 10 years has he been the Mayor? What's he done for Abram? He lives in a big multi-million-pound house down the road. This is Chantilly. She's 26. We've got 2 live down there and 2 in the field.
So towards the end of the day, we went back to Labour HQ where we bumped into none other than Andy Burnham himself. How's it going? I mean, a couple of days out of an election, how's it feeling?
Yeah, I'm not the best candidate in the world. You know, I always feel nervous, and I do feel nervous. But it's been brilliant being out there talking to people. You know, it's been a different campaign because I acknowledged at the start that Labour's not good enough and needs to improve. And because of that, you can just have more honest conversations with people on the doorstep. So I've been doing a lot of that. You know, people have listened and engaged. So, yeah, I'm not sure I could have done any more anyway, and I don't take anything for granted. We'll see what Thursday brings, but it's been a good campaign.
I think you've talked a lot about changing this campaign, and obviously it's the sort of the unspoken secret that we're all aware of, that you know there's you'd like to be Prime Minister, or at least there's a good chance that you might challenge Starmer if you win this seat. A lot of people seem to be voting for you because they like you as a candidate rather than for the party. Have you found that when you've been speaking to people on the door, or you know, are people feeling like you about Labour, that Labour needs to change essentially?
Well, I used to represent about a third of this constituency. It was in my original Lee constituency, and I was elected 25 years ago last Sunday actually. It was 7th of June 2001. So I've been around these parts a long time. I've always fought for people here on Hillsborough, but other things as well. So people do know me, and I've been honest. You know, it's about changing politics. It's about writing a new script, really, and that's what the people here can do. I stood there on that car park and I said at the start, we've had 40 years of trickle-down economics. It's not trickled down very much, or not enough to hear 40 years of neoliberalism, and you know, we've not been saying that for a long time. So just start to say, well, how do you build an economy that works for people in places like this and many hundreds of other places like it around the country? So I think it's been quite liberating from that point of view. Obviously lots of people have come to support the campaign because I think they recognise there's a breath of fresh air possibly coming into Labour thinking. So we'll see where it takes us, but I end the campaign feeling good, feeling that it was the right thing to do.
What's your message for people in the local constituency who might be wavering or not sure how to vote on Thursday?
Vote for hope. You know, we can't end up like the United States of America. That's the kind of key thing, really. It's easy to see how Britain could go down that path to a very polarised, poisonous politics where people don't talk to each other in the street anymore if they vote different ways, and that's where America has found itself. So yeah, that's in many ways what we've got to sort of open our eyes to. It's vote for hope, but hope comes from being a better Labour Party, coming back stronger, bringing people back together, dealing with the cost of living that affects everybody, whoever they are. You know, this is what this is all about.
So I couldn't speak to Andy Burnham without asking him about what his policy would be on the ongoing genocide in Gaza. I know a lot of Labour members that have left the party have done so over Israel and Palestine, and we just wanted to ask, what would your approach be to foreign policy in terms of what's going on in Gaza and the ongoing genocide there? Well,
obviously, you know, huge concern as others, many people do, about what's been going on there. As Mayor of Greater Manchester, I've met regularly with the Palestinian diaspora in Greater Manchester, visited with Labour Friends of Palestine in 2012. So obviously, you know, I've got to be honest, you know, right now I've got to focus on the by-election. That is my focus, but I was one of those who called for a ceasefire shortly after the events of October the 7th, as horrific as they were, but that was the stance that I took. So I have spoken out, taken a clear stance on these matters, and have done over many years.
So this by-election isn't just about who can represent local people here in Makerfield. The results on Thursday could also determine who becomes this country's next Prime Minister.